While we get rolling, would love to hear who you are and where you're from if you want to put something into the comments. All right. Well, it's 9:02 a.m. Here in Denver, so we're going to get started. I'm Eric Elkins. I'm the founder and CEO of WideFoc.us Social Media. I started the company way back in 2007. We're about to celebrate 18 years in business, and we work with clients around the country to manage their social media. And what I mean by that is we help companies grow by looking at their target audiences and business goals and helping with their social via paid and organic, which means we're creating content strategy, posting on their behalf, using paid campaigns to really drive up the numbers that matter, and just overall helping them build a strong brand online and drive sales and revenue. Um, the one of the things we've noticed over the last 18 years is whenever the economy gets weird, bumpy, uncomfortable, heading towards the big R word or not, a lot of brands tend to scale back and they cut their social or they cut their marketing budgets, they cut their spends, and evidence shows year after year, this happens again and again every single time. It's the companies that stick to it, that continue to spend during those downtimes. Those are the ones that maintain market share and grow faster than their competition, because the competition scales back and they get to take that space. So today we're going to talk a little bit about ways you can make sure your brand is thriving during these kind of wacky times right now. Today, you're not going to hear me talk the whole time. You have three of our super awesome community managers. At WideFoc.us, we assign our clients a dedicated community manager who's supported by the rest of the team. You're going to hear from Shani, Demario, and Jenna today. They all have skills in different areas, and they'll briefly introduce themselves. I'm really excited for you to hear what they have to say and to share in their wisdom. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about. All right. So, like I said, a lot of times during uncertain times, companies tend to, instead of revamping or reworking their marketing plan and their social media plan, they tend to just retreat, and that's absolutely the worst thing you can do. So today, Demario is going to talk about ways to create a smart summer strategy. We always call summertime the summer lull. It's when people tend to check out a little bit more. But whether you're a B2B brand or a B2C company, this is a really good time both to engage with your audiences and really grow, especially now when, on top of it being summer, we have just all this weird stuff happening with the economy that makes people a little more nervous. And then Shani's going to talk about increasing engagement without increasing your budget. And then finally, we're going to have Jenna talk about some strategic paid social campaigns. We'll do a quick recap at the end, and we will do questions. So please, for sure, ask questions as we go. And either we'll jump in and answer them or we'll answer them at the end. And as we get rolling, would love to hear from you, who you are and where you're from, so we can kind of get an idea of who we're talking to today. We'd especially love to know if you're a B2B marketer or a B2C marketer. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Demario. Take it away.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Good morning, everybody. My name is Demario. I am a community manager at WideFoc.us. I've been writing for social media and doing strategies for about 8 years now. So I'm going to start this off. To start this off, first things first, I like to say a social media campaign, I want you to think about it as more than just posting consistently. It's really just a focused effort that aligns content, messaging, creativity, and your goals over a set period of time and it's designed to drive action or build momentum. So even for B2B brands, that focus effort becomes even more critical. You're working with longer sales cycles, multiple decision makers, and very niche audiences. So every post in your campaign needs to pull strategic weight. You can think about it as like a mini movement for your brand, tailored around the theme or an objective. So now we can get into why summer campaigns matter. So during the summer, audiences are distracted, with traveling, outdoors, and altered schedules, which means less time is going to be spent online. And because of this, businesses often scale back to align with the audience's behavior. But this is actually, it's your opportunity to stand out with a well-planned summer campaign. This keeps your voice relevant while others go quiet. Plus, in uncertain times, consistency really can build trust. And B2B decision makers may be out of office more frequently, but summer's also when buyers and partners are quietly doing research and planning for Q4. So it's not about constant conversion. It's about staying on top of mind and offering value and priming your audience for fall activations or any launches. So now this is the part where I tell you how to build a summer campaign in just 3 easy to follow steps. So for step 1, the first thing you're going to want to do is just pick a clear-cut goal. You want to know where you're going. So start with a simple objective like awareness, engagement, sales, or lead generation. So this time, for example, your goal could be to boost engagement for July and August. Step 2, it's time to build around the theme. You want to give your campaign personality. Maybe something like hot tips or cool business or beat the heat to boost your skills. Ultimately, your theme guides your content, voice, visuals, and tone. So, for example, if you have a fitness brand or a gym, a great theme could be summer's not a pause, it's a setup. This is why it works. In the summertime, clientele usually drops off. This can flip the narrative, and it says that summer isn't a break. You should look at it more as like a launch pad. Also, if you're a B2B brand, you should look at summer as your runway. This is the perfect time when you're not just fighting for attention. You want to look at it as like reshaping your perception. Use themes that educate, simplify, or elevate the planning process. So, for example, fall starts in July could be one, or smarter now, stronger later would be a good idea. So summer content that positions your brand as a strategic ally, sets the tone before the budget talks and the RFPs and campaigns flood in for the fall. So now it's time for some actual campaign ideas that can get your thoughts going for your brand. So you could do something like a 6-week commit to the comeback challenge. It could be a story or a reel or content showing before fall hustle kicks in. Train light, stay tight could be one. And these could be like short workouts and like mindset check-ins. Oftentimes during the summer, people feel like they've already did what they had to do for winter and spring, and now summertime they want to chill. But you could show them that this is a year-round thing. Also, if you're a B2B brand, summer could be the time to prep your customers for a busy fall. For step 3, I want you to think about aligning your content and channels. Map out a 4 to 6 week content calendar with your hero posts, support posts, reels or shorts, and stories. Then you can mix it in with things like CTAs, light offers, testimonials, or even summer memes. The key is to make your brand feel alive, even when the business is slow. Finally, what I want you to walk away with is the idea that a good summer campaign doesn't just fill time. It sets you up for a strong fall. So even when things feel slow or uncertain, it's not about pulling back. It's about showing up smarter. Now, with that being said, next I want to introduce our senior community manager, Shani, to tell you what to do when your budget chills.
Thank you for that, Demario. That was really nice and informative, and I especially like the inspiration of the hero post. Hi, everyone. I am super stoked to be here. Thank you for being here. My name is Shani Schmidt, and I've been a social media storyteller and manager for 11 years. And in those 11 years, I have seen the economy go up and down. And the one key that I have found is that no matter how large or small your audience is that when your budget chills, your brand voice shouldn't. So don't go quiet, dive in. Community doesn't cost extra, silence does. Summer slowdowns might mean fewer campaigns, but it also means more opportunities to connect one-on-one. So even if customers aren't buying today, they're still watching and forming opinions. So keep up with those consistent replies in your comments and DMs to build trust and visibility, especially when other brands' socials go dark. Because engagement drives retention. Even every thoughtful reply, even a simple thank you for your feedback, keeps the perception of your brand warm and relevant. The brands that keep showing up and consistently are the ones that stay top of mind because your tone speaks volumes. Now is the perfect time to double down on your brand voice, like friendly, positive, empowering, empathetic, authentic, creatively funny, and helpful tones go a long way during sessions when audiences really crave that connection. It's in the comments sections where your brand can truly stand out. Your customers are still here, and if they do engage, please don't leave them hanging. Even something like a thoughtful set of emojis or just a simple response like exactly means a lot to the commenter. Plus, they'll get a notification that your brand commented on theirs for extra visibility. And others who see your comment and interaction, even if they don't engage, it's still leaving a mark. Make your community your content. Hot tip, comments are content too. You don't have to overthink it, but try to always be in that moment and take that on as the brand voice. Then repurpose what your audience gives you. Replies are basically like mini brand messages. The right comment could become an idea for a future post or story or reel, and it might even inspire a campaign. Let your audience really see themselves reflected in your feed. If we treat replies like mini brand messages, then we understand that the tone, timing, and relevance matter. Comments and questions from your brand or community, comments to your brand from the community are gold and totally useful. And it doesn't matter if you're like a B2B brand to try to build thought leadership or a B2C focused on building engagement, your community's voice matters. So put your audience in the spotlight. Thanks to Instagram's new share to your comment to the story feature, you can highlight and share community reactions directly to your stories without any screenshots required anymore. It's a low-lift way to spotlight followers and share some love and keep those conversations flowing beyond the comment section. Celebrate your followers. Truly let them know that their words matter, because this will stick with them. Just take a moment and think about a time that you had a brand engage with you in an authentic, empowering, and funny way. It really sticks with us. Even today, as a social media manager, I still get excited when brands interact because even if I know if it's someone just like me on the other side, it's thoughtful and memorable. And that's why it's wise to turn engagement into momentum. Use FAQs, DMs, or story replies as jumping off points as inspiration to shape future posts. Plan a dedicated day, maybe even weekly or monthly, to host a story session where you ask questions on the brand's stories and then share replies in a fun and engaging backgrounds curated to match those replies. It's the best evergreen content for engagement at any time. And these are truly my favorite days in content creation because it feels so real and exciting, so now and so social. Sharing community replies shows your brand is listening. It also invites more interaction. So when people see that the comments are appreciated and celebrated, they're more likely to jump in. The best brands don't just post. They show that they're listening, are timely, and that builds culture through discourse and conversation. But you should start the conversation. Don't wait for it. It might seem like the feed is slowing down, but you don't have to, because proactive brands stay visible. Don't wait to be tagged or for mentions to engage. Go seek out industry threads. Comment on adjacent brands or influencers, even local business posts. And please make sure that you're adding real value to the conversation, even if it's just encouragement or hyping up the post. Personally, I like to leave as a brand in the language of emojis and then an additional thoughtful, encouraging, or fun reply that has to do with the post. Proactive engagement boosts reach. This is an excellent time to use summer moments to show up with personality to really spark that engagement. You can tap into lighter topics like travel plans or seasonal habits, this or that polls. Start with low stakes, high reward interactions that truly invite your audience to engage without selling. Ask questions, share relatable insights, get the replies rolling with easy to answer and fun prompts. And that's your opportunity to listen first and then comment with purpose. Yes, I know that we all might already know that social listening is the secret sauce, but use this quieter time to monitor what your audience is talking about and join in adding real value, asking good questions, and share thoughtful takes. Social media management tools can help, of course, to monitor specific words, but you can do this by just simply focusing 15 minutes a day of intentional engagement, and it makes a big difference. Even with a B2B voice, this is the time to really build your thought leadership by harnessing thoughtful social listening to discover relatable conversations and find those entry points to actually share something meaningful, not just reactions. Visibility doesn't always require budget, but it does require presence. So when others go quiet, the brands that keep showing up will be the ones that people remember. And if you can take anything away from this part of our webinar, it should be that visibility doesn't have to be paid, but it has to be present. So while other brands pull back, you can push forward and accelerate, one cleverly crafted comment at a time. And this works on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever your audiences are. Okay, well, that wraps up my portion of the community building while your budget chills. But now I have the pleasure of introducing you to the very talented and knowledgeable Jenna Draycorn to inspire us about strategic ad spending.
Thank you so much, Shani. So now that Shani has touched upon being proactive in engagement and monitoring, let's take that to paid advertising and spending. But before I get into it, I wanted to quickly introduce myself. I'm Jenna Draycorn, and I'm the Community Manager and Business Development Strategist at WideFoc.us. So something that we see time and time again is when there's a downturn in the economy, cost per click drops, inventory is high, and guess what? Advertisers who've stayed active during the slowdown win when the economy starts to rebound. But why is that? Fewer advertisers means less competition, which drives more visibility and more efficient costs. You can think of it like advertising during the off season, because you're not fighting for space, and that means your spend is going a lot further. So let's dive into the strategy. First, we'll want to avoid knee-jerk cuts. Pausing ads completely really might feel safe, but it can actually hurt your momentum. You lose visibility and you lose share of voice. And when the market does bounce back, you're essentially starting from zero. And you can think of a campaign that was driving super strong results before you pull the plug. And when you pause it, there is consequences, and the consequences start to stack up. The algorithm resets, your audience cools off, and it costs more to ramp things back up later. So over time, while your visibility drops, your brand recognition also fades too, and you lose share of voice in a competitive market. So instead of hitting pause, you'll want to shift your strategy. You don't want to cut your budget entirely, but instead what you want to do is reallocate it. Focus on the placements and channels that are currently driving the best performance. Like Shani said, this can be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, even Reddit. For example, certain ad formats like stories or reels are outperforming the others. Move the budget there, because it's not about spending less, it's ultimately about spending smarter. And next, what you'll want to do is use broad targeting with optimized conversions. You'll want to cast a wide net, let the platform learn, and optimize for conversions. So for instance, instead of drilling down on specific interests like job titles, using broad targeting and setting your goal as purchases or even leads. You'll reach the right people without micromanaging every detail, and oftentimes you'll see way more efficient results with that. And next, you'll want to consolidate your ad sets. So this means with leaner budgets, fragmentation can really kill your performance. One strong campaign can beat 5 weak ones, for example. If you're running multiple ad sets, this can again either be LinkedIn, Pinterest, and even Reddit with all the similar targeting. You want to combine them into a single campaign and use campaign budget optimization. And this ultimately allows your budget to work harder, and it also helps the algorithm deliver more effectively as well. And finally, you'll want to retarget wisely. It sounds so simple, but you want to go after your warmest leads. And that looks like website visitors, email subscribers, video viewers, and even prospect form fills as well. Because these people already know you, and they're way more likely to convert faster at a lower cost. And a reminder ad for someone who visited your pricing page, like for example, last week, is going to drive way better results than any type of cold traffic. So warming up your leads, your warmest leads are your best bet rather than cold traffic. So really the bottom line is just staying active, even at a lower spend. It gives you momentum, and it also builds brand equity, essentially at a discount. And when, guess what? When your competitors are back online, you're already ahead. And with that, I'm going to head over to the next slide to recap some of the points we discussed today. So to wrap it up, a shaky economy or a summer lull doesn't mean you have to stop showing up. It just means you have to get smarter about how you do it. Like DeMario mentions, staying visible with focused campaigns, and like Shani mentioned, engaging your audience and treating comments and questions like opportunities and not afterthoughts. It's really about staying consistent as much as you can. And when it comes to paid, don't pull the plug on what's working. Pausing resets the algorithm, cools your audience, and essentially it's going to cost more to recover. You want to shift your budget to high-performing content, and no matter what, you'll want to keep that momentum going. It's all about keeping the momentum going and consistency, even when that summer lull happens, because in uncertain times, consistency will always build trust, and smart strategy keeps you ahead while others go quiet. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Eric with a mission.
All right. Thank you so much, all three of you. Such great takeaways. Lots of good information there. Hopefully you found it useful. And your mission, should you choose to accept it today, is to take some things away with you that you can do right away. So I have a quick mini assignment for you. The first one is, what are 2 things that you found useful today? Please write those down or put them in the comments. We would love to really hear from you. What you found useful. I know a lot of this can seem intuitive, but sometimes just hearing someone else say it or getting a little kick in the butt about doing things you already know you need to do can be helpful. So we want to know how this webinar went for you. So please either drop a couple things that you found useful today in the comments or write it down. And then the next thing is specifically for you. Also, you could write it down or drop it in the comments. But I always find when I'm sitting through a webinar, potentially multitasking while I'm doing it, or just taking in a lot of information, the best thing I can do is write down 1, 2, or 3 things, action items that I can do right away that day to hone in that learning, to settle it in, and to do something useful, get something useful out of it. So I'm asking you to write down 2 to 3 things today, or 2 to 3 things that you could do today after this webinar to keep your momentum going. I always say actionable and worthwhile, right? Like, there are things that you actually could do that are going to make a difference, and then things that you actually want to do, because I have a to-do list full of things I don't want to do, and they're always the ones that get done last. So write down 2 or 3 things you would like to do today, making use of what we talked about. It could be creating a content calendar, making a list of your B2B decision makers and what their pain points are and what they might be thinking about this summer or during a difficult economy. It could be reworking your ad sets. Lots of things you can be thinking about and doing right away to just get you move you forward, get you through that summer lull, and get something useful out of it. And then finally, that's my personal email there. I would love to help. If you have some questions, if you want to do some reality checks and brainstorming, please reach out to me. All right, now we only have a few people on, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a lot of questions, but we want to open it up to questions. So if you have them, please drop them into the comments and we'll see if we can answer them. Loving these LinkedIn comments about what you found useful. This was really great. And it looks like we don't have any questions today, which is okay. This webinar will be available. We're going to have it on our website so that you can share it, rewatch it, take more notes, whatever it is you want to do. In the meantime, if you are looking for some social media help, whether it's our full scale approach where we're managing all of your different social media channels and really helping create real brand growth and driving more business, great. But if you're just looking even for some consulting, we do have some lower level consulting packages for organizations that don't have a major budget, but definitely could use some help. So drop a line to info@WideFocus. We'll set up a discovery call. And then from there, we'll create a free strategy session. It's a roadmap for you to use as you're looking at your future social media support. Oh, we got one question. Build around a theme, another example. Damaro, do you want to jump in with another example of a summer theme that might be useful for people? Might be trying to get off mute. I can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me? My Wi-Fi is.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Do you have an idea for another theme?
I have to think about that. Would y'all want it to be like seasonal?
I think like if we're talking about themes for summer or for B2B or B2C, could be anything, right? It could be one of the themes that we've seen that's worked really well in the past for B2B companies in the summer is telling people that fall is already here, right? And creating a theme around summer. There is a summer lull, but this is your time to plan. This is your time to get everything ready to hit things hard in the fall. And so one of our themes we've often used, and Jenna has actually helped us create this, is the idea of how you can make the most of your summer to make fall hit really hard.
Okay. I'm gonna need a second to think about that, but I definitely would like to contribute and come up with some ideas for that.
Yeah, we'll add some new theme ideas. Actually, I think would be great, Mario, now that we're talking about it, is let's have you write a LinkedIn post about theme ideas that we'll share in the coming week.
I would love to do something for LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we'll give Demario some time to think through that, and we'll share those. So please make sure you're following us on LinkedIn. And yes, a pain point for the future, exactly. That's one thing that we often think about is, people check out in the summer. As the guy who's doing all the biz dev for WideFocus day after day and week after week, I know that when summer hits, it's a lot harder to get people to the table to get those initial calls. So my call to action, and it's the pain point for the future, is fall's going to be here before you know it. Don't lose momentum in the summer. Let's get talking now so that you have things in gear and you're ready to go as fall hits. So yeah, we love, like, for as much as we love the summer theme stuff especially for B2C clients, really looking at how to make the most of the summer for those products and services that they provide, whether it's weatherproofing or sunscreen or whatever that is. It's always a little more complicated for B2B because although those are people too, right? They're experiencing summer just like the rest of us. So thinking about ways that what their pain points are during the summer and how we can help them prep for the fall is it's a theme that we come back to again and again. It's part of the reason we're having this webinar today. Any other questions? We loved having you with us today, so please do reach out if you have any questions. And I want to thank Jenna, Shani, and Demario for their amazing presentations. We're going to be cutting and snipping and using snippets of their work in future content for us. And like I said, we'll also have the webinar available for sharing and reviewing. Have a wonderful Thursday.